And my words to God was, if you get me through this, I promise I will help every woman that needs my help. And, it's in the understanding why now that I went through these trials and tribulations.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Second Half Chronicles podcast today. I'm your host, Karami Olson, and I just have a firecracker of a guest on today. I'm so excited to introduce her to you. So I'll tell you just a little bit about her. Her name is Ginger Monceaux. So Ginger is a fiery and passionate midlife transformation consultant, and she ignites the power within midlife women. She specializes in empowering women to embrace their new selves, embodying the limitless essence of womanhood. She helps her clients become the powerful, purposeful, confident, sexy, and fierce women they are destined to be. As a life coach and happiness coach, she's fiercely dedicated to helping midlife and menopausal women from a biblical perspective, addressing all areas of their lives. Her mission is to help them reclaim what feels lost and step into a healthier, wealthier, and more vibrant version of themselves. Known on social media as the Midlife Empress, as well as she's the host of the Midlife Empress podcast, her brand is all about breaking barriers and redefining midlife. I welcome Ginger Monceaux. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Second Half Chronicles podcast today. I'm your host, Karami Olson. I have got such a fun guest on today. We connected a few months ago and it was just kind of like fire. Like it was like magic. We both are on the same mission and we just noticed that, yes, we need to connect. We need to do some collabs and I'm so excited. So today I have, Midlife Transformation Consultant here, Ginger Monceaux. Say hi, Ginger.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Karami, for having me on.
Why don't you just take just a minute and introduce yourself to our audience?
Well, I'm Ginger Monceaux. I am a women's midlife transformation coach. I help women who are in midlife and menopause basically take back their me. When we are in midlife and menopause, we feel like we've lost ourselves. So that's what the brand, the Midlife Empress, is all about. Social media platforms, people know me as that. But, Karami, I have to start first here. I've been in the hair industry for more than 20 years as a master stylist. And, I came to the conclusion that, I've been really coaching women for 2 decades now, right? Every woman who sits in my chair has basically trusted me. And you know what they say about a woman? If she trusts you with her hair, then she probably trusts you with her life, right? Women have so much to share. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. Women have shared with me some of their deepest, darkest secrets that their own family members have no idea about. So,
right,
it's been an amazing thing to be able to serve women. But now I'm serving at women, but at a different level. Not meaning. Meaning the masses of women, more of women that need me instead of, the one or two that would sit in my chair a day. They need me also, but the masses, touching on the masses. So every conversation that's ever been in my chair, like I said, the trust factor, when these women are in my chair, those conversations that were there stayed in the chair. And, people need to talk today. They need to open up. 75% of healing is in when we speak. And, so many, they have to have that trust value before they tell you anything. And that's the same thing in this coaching industry. They have to trust you before they'll open up to you. And, my clients have opened up to me for years, and it's a whole different little type ball game here when we're in the coaching industry. But it's all about like know and trust factors. So I'm kind of like you, Carrie. I've been, called to level up and serve more women in a different way.
Yeah.
But, my story truly in all this is a mess that became a message. Back in 2018, it was my son's 18th birthday, and my story dates back that far. Beautiful, gorgeous day. We rented this beach cabin, and I so looked forward to this amazing day. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, a child that's turning 18, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
I've had a few. Mm-hmm.
You've had a few. So you know what a special day that was, right? Yeah. Very special day. And we rented this beach cabin, and, I looked forward to this amazing day, but I couldn't help but think, could this be the last birthday celebration with my son? Something wasn't right. Something was off. I could barely walk. The pain was so bad. And of course, the voice of Jaja, my friend calls it. Jaja tries to come in and tell you, yeah, all these things are happening, right? Right? Jaja tries to push her way through. But, I knew that I needed to push my way through this day. My legs feeling like they were going to detach from my body was a terrible feeling. I had 30 people, 30 guests there, and I couldn't let anyone down, especially my son. So I had to push through, taking pain med after pain med just to try to get through the day. Me being this tough Italian girl raised by a tough Italian dad, at the age of 6 years old, I had boxing gloves on in the ring training my brother to be the tough guy.
Really?
Yeah. So that's the kind of tough that I was brought up with, was to be so tough, and my dad, he would say to my brother, if my brother wasn't putting in the work and doing what we were supposed to do, I'm going to take the gloves off of you, put them on your sister, and she's going to show you how it's done. So that's the kind of tough that I was. But, really and truly, I hid my pain this day. No one knew what was happening. And immediately after I left my son's party, I said, let me go to the gyno. Let me see what's going on. Something's not right. It's lower body. It has to be something there. Something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And moving into perimenopause, a lot of women don't even know that they have perimenopausal symptoms. Perimenopausal symptoms can start when you're in your early 30s. And it's just crazy. And, the blood work, when you go have the blood work, it doesn't always tell the true story. So I had the blood work done. It didn't tell the true story. And of course, guess who comes alive again, right? Jaja, right? She comes alive again, telling me all these crazy things, okay? And the fear set in, the weight gain started. I woke up every day ready to battle the weight in my mind, but I just couldn't do it at that time. I just couldn't do it. It was packing on. Nothing seemed to work. Scarcity set in. I kept saying to myself, I don't deserve this. Why is this happening to me? I think those are all the questions that we ask ourselves when we get into perimenopause and menopause, feeling like I was sick, anxiety, the feeling of hot flashes was just hellacious, fatigue, and, literally making myself sick because I thought in my mind, guess what? I thought I was sick, right? Menopause is not an illness. It's just a stage of life. And at the time, I didn't know that. So it's very important that when we start to enter these stages, we have to guard our mind. We have to guard our mind because what we think about, we bring about. You know this. Yeah. So, I remember saying to myself, I just want to feel like me again. I just want to feel like the woman that I used to be, and of course, the men, they don't understand, right?
No.
And the reason that they don't understand is because they're not supposed to understand. God didn't wire them to understand. He wired us to be the more understanding, not the man. So, you know, back to the doctor. I'm back to the doctor again after this, after the blood work didn't show. And then back to the doctor within just a month or so later. And here I am, menopausal,
Mm-hmm.
full blown menopause. What? Are you kidding me? So, blood work doesn't always show the truth. And then, the doctor, what can I do? Is there some holistic approaches that I can take? Well, what is it? Well, I get handed this laminated chart with about probably 300 women in there and all black dresses, 300 women and one red dress. And I'm like, okay, well, what is this?
What?
Well, this is the statistic. What?
Of
The
what?
statistic to what? The C word. I'm not going to say it. And I'm like, okay, that's totally not for me. Hormone replacement therapy at this point is not for me. Are there any approaches holistically that I can take? Doctors like, no, I practice conventional, but there are are there any support groups out there? I'm not real sure. You could look online, right? So being left to figure all this out on my own, it really made it more stressful, more weight gain, more hot flashes, right? I was a hot mess.
Right.
So you know, I remember that I didn't look in the mirror at my lower body undressed for a long time. And that was crazy, y'all. No woman should ever do that. Okay. Never. You know, it was just a crazy thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes we let crazy things take us over. And that was wrong. But you know what? At that point in time, I knew that it was time for me to get up and fight, right? And it was time for me not to fight for me only, but to fight for every midlife menopausal woman out there. I was tired of the BS, right? As you call it,
Yeah.
tired of it. So I started to get the knowledge that I needed, and fast forward, 7 years knowledge that is, and a lot of conversations with myself and with God, right? Things started to shift after that. And, you know, it was in the resources that I started to find, and the things and the knowledge I received, and of course surrendering to him. And my words to God was, if you get me through this, I promise I will help every woman that needs my help. And, it's in the understanding why now that I went through these trials and tribulations, because now I'm here with you on this podcast, right? It's just amazing.
Right.
So don't make me get a tissue. So, I truly never want another woman to experience those feelings or those things. And, I promised God if he got me through this, that I would truly help every woman in my path that needed my help. We as menopausal women, we start to, get this brain fog. We start to have these feelings of feeling different. It's like the brain fog is so unbearable at times. You don't know whether you're coming or going, you know, and not having that clarity really takes a toll on a menopausal woman. So we have to figure out what's going to help that. And there are so many things out there to help with brain fog today. And that's a whole nother podcast episode. But, holistically, there are so many approaches, and I'm just grateful to be able to be on this platform right now and to tell women that you don't have to suffer in silence. There is support out there for you. There is support out there for you. And I'm just grateful that God put me in that position.
Okay, so would you say when women are entering menopause, what's their, like, from your experience, what's their biggest concern and what do they fear the most?
The biggest concern that I have experienced from women is, do I need hormone replacement therapy? Where do I go? What do I do? Where do I start? What HRT? You know,
Yeah.
you have to start with your healthcare provider first and see what fits your style. You have to start there. I actually have a podcast episode that's out right now, and it's podcast episode 26. And it's all about, I have on a specialist in hormone replacement therapy that gives us so much clarity and confidence in HRT.
Yeah.
So it's the Midlife Empress podcast, and it's episode 26. And it's demystifying hormones is the name of the episode.
Okay.
And it has been by far the number one download out of all of our episodes. And that right there tells me that women want to know how to take care of their body and
they need answers
themselves. Yeah. Women want to know their options, and they want to feel confident in whatever decision that they're making. And my strongest advice to women is to start taking these steps and advocating right now before you get into perimenopause. Get the knowledge and support that you need right now, and you will conquer it. You will. And Jeremy, the number one fear that I see with most women as they're entering these stages is the weight gain. The weight gain.
Yeah.
So fearful of gaining the weight. We can't stop it, but we can, right? We can. We can't, but we can. We just have to have the right information. Most women that are in, this stage of perimenopause to menopause, they're not even overeating and they're gaining weight. And that's because there's hormone shifts. And what's happened is we have a hormone, we have a hunger hormone, okay? And what's happening is it's getting disrupted. And ghrelin is our hunger hormone. And what happens to that is it's prompting our body to hold on to weight. So, we start to gain this little weight, and women start to say, oh my gosh, I'm gaining weight, right? And then she starts overstressing because she's putting on pounds, a few. But she gets into these stressful moments to where she causes more stress in her life with knowing that she's packed on a few little pounds. And that causes her cortisol levels to spike, which causes more weight gain to the mid area. So, this area is, and the reason that we are accumulating this visceral fat in menopause is because of the rise in cortisol. This white visceral fat starts coming on. And, during menopause, women can experience these shifts in fat distribution. And you have hormone fed areas in your body. So your female organs, they're hormone fed. So if they're not getting what they're needing, they're going to try to pull in some others. So cortisol starts to rise, hormones change, your lifestyle's, changing. It's just, it could be a crazy thing. And being that it's an estrogen fed, your female hormones are estrogen fed, and you're not getting the estrogen that it needs, that's where the fat distribution starts to accumulate. So you get more of the subcutaneous fat in your abdomen area. And as those, estrogen levels decrease, during this menopausal stage, that fat stored around the waist and the hips and the thighs, that's where it all comes in. So,
Oh,
in menopausal women, belly fat, you know, the postmenopausal 15 to 20. But if you compare that to a premenopausal, it's 5 to 8%. So you go from 5 to 8% to 15 to 20.
mm.
And that's a pretty good jump. Yeah, that's a pretty good jump.
Messes with you mentally too. You no
It
longer,
does.
there's just a lot. So,
It's the voice of Jaja. My friend Katie says it's the voice of Jaja. Yeah, the voice of Jaja kicks in, and boy, it really messes with your mind.
oh my gosh. So, okay. So how did you lose your weight then? You've
Yes,
lost a big amount
I,
of weight now.
I've lost over 70 pounds.
Mhm.
And let me just first say this, when women come into my coaching program, they say, that's crazy. That's unheard of. And I say, no, it's not. If you go back 7 years and research why we're putting on these pounds, why the distribution, what could we do to change things? No, it's kind of almost unheard of for people to lose a woman to lose 70 pounds in menopause. But let me just say, if you have the knowledge and you have the right holistic approaches,
Mhm.
it can be done. I'm living proof. So, I like to say it wasn't an overnight success, but I truly think that putting in my mind that I was tired of the BS and I was going to lose the weight really catapulted me into losing the weight. And
Awesome.
I just said when Jaja came out, I just said, you are a story, Jaja, that I'm not going to tell myself. So I just truly worked on the mindset. And that's where we have to all start is the mindset. And then we have to move into macro counting because the macronutrient counting is a whole different approach than what we've ever done.
Mhm.
And, it works
Yeah.
you know, and our bodies are different in midlife menopause. And that's why we have to take these different approaches. And we have to de-stress and keep these cortisol levels down. And we have to lift heavy. Lifting heavy is what I did because it burns white fat coming in. And, taking supplements basically is going to help also.
Mhm.
After 7 years of doing the research, I know for a fact that it can be done. And, that's why I'm here to bridge the gap for women who feel like they just can't do it, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And that's why, implementing the action and of course, taking a product called fat browning totally also helped me from accumulating this fast-paced white fat coming in. So I started
I've
taking
heard of
it.
that. Is that something you
So
take by
yeah,
mouth or is that something you put on?
it's 3 packets that you put one in your coffee, one on your tongue at lunch, and then at dinner time, uh, after dinner, you put one in about 2 ounces of water. And this is what happens. We are born with 2 types of fat in our body. We were born with white fat and brown fat.
Mhm.
White fat is very hard to burn off. Okay. Brown fat burns very easily. So these 3 tiny packets is called fat browning. And what this fat browning does is it takes this white, stubborn, visceral fat that we get into places and we can't lose it. It's impossible almost. And what it does is it converts it. It's a fat converter. So it takes white, stubborn fat lipids, puts it into the brown fat category, and burns it out of your body. And you become very energetic. And it's not
Oh,
a stimulant. It's not a stimulant. It's 100% deemed clean, all natural approach. And I am just so grateful for fat browning coming into my life because I don't have to fight this white fat, this white, stubborn, visceral fat. It's being converted every single day for me.
okay.
So
I've heard of that. And you take this every day?
I have taken it every day for the
Okay.
past 3 years.
Okay, where do you
Yes.
get that?
I will give you all the links. We can link it and you can link it in the show notes where you can get it from.
Okay.
But it has been by far the best thing ever. I mean, after taking it, I have photos after taking it for just 3 to 4 weeks, and you can see what happens is you don't see a whole bunch on the scale, but your body composition starts to change drastically. And then eventually the
Mm,
pounds add up. You start to lose the massive amounts of inches first, and
yeah.
then pounds start to show on the scale. So,
Yeah.
it's been an amazing. I recommend every woman in midlife and menopause to take this
Yeah.
fat browning product, take this supplement. There is only one company today that I know that has this fat browning product like this right now, and that's this one. So, if I can give any woman in midlife menopause advice, start fat browning.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what else? What should women be concerned with, like in menopause? Is there certain things that we maybe we don't know that we don't know? Is there something we should be concerned with?
There are so many things that you should be concerned with. And, getting the knowledge and the information that you need is the most important thing. And listen, get with someone that is knowledgeable about midlife and menopause, because you're not going to find it there at the doctor. You're not. You're going to find the information to, do I want HRT? Do I want this? You're not going to find the information on, hey, how do I deal with these hot flashes? You're not going to find that at all, because you're going to find that in a person that has dealt with it, that has been in the mess. The mess became the message. And, there are so many holistic approaches to deal with all that. It's just mind blowing, the research, 7 years. And, I just want to say that we should, we should be early age, we should be taught about discussing midlife and menopause, right? We should discuss this. I feel like we should be discussing this with our teenage talk, right? It's been such a hush hush and taboo, my childhood, and I'm sure it has you also. I mean, you just don't hear about it. And our parents, you know, we have been handed down these generational curses to think that menopause is something to be embarrassed about, and it's not. We've got
Right.
to raise the taboo on this. We've got to teach our children. You know, there are so many women out there today, right now, suffering in silence, and that is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Mm-hmm.
so
It's okay
wrong.
to talk about it.
It's not
I
right.
I told my I told my sister-in-law when I was starting this blog and this podcast, I said, really, I'm actually writing this and creating this for the younger women. And here's another reason why people go through it at different um, ages. And so some people start their menopause or the premenopause earlier. Some people are later. So then someone who's starting it earlier they're like, oh, I'm not in menopause yet because I'm young, whatever age, late 30s or
Right.
whatever.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I will tell you right now, by the year 2030, there are going to be women out there who are going to be entering menopause in their early 30s. And the reason for that is chemicals, food sources, and I'll just leave that like that.
Hormones
So
and food. Yeah.
we have to give women the knowledge that they need to get past this, and how to eat, what diet to eat. There are things that women are doing right now that could take care of the symptoms in midlife and menopause. And, there may be a woman right now, like myself, I'll just use me for instance. I had no idea that my caffeine intake had something to do with the amount of hot flashes I was having a day. So I stopped caffeine intake. and my hot flashes are amazing. They hardly come. So there are things out there, as a midlife menopausal coach that can help you bridge the gap, can help you figure out, what do I need? What's what, a simple bottle of 2 ounces of distilled water, 10 drops of peppermint oil in a glass bottle with a spray can help you with hot flashes. Yeah. So there are so many amazing things out there right now that can help you deal with all these symptoms to where, if you decide like me not to take HRT, you want to control things, and not every woman's like this. I'm using me as an example, disclaimer there. I'm using myself as an example. I did not want HRT. I wanted holistic approaches. So therefore, I took it upon myself to dive into what type of nutrition I needed to put in my body, what type of holistic things that I could use for the symptoms. So, you just have to find out what works and get some support and find someone who has been a mess to help you bridge the gap. And that message, the mess became the message.
Oh, well, thank you so much for just sharing all of this with us today. This is so valuable.
I just want to say, just listen to your body. And if something feels off, don't stop until you get the answers. And know that you don't have to suffer in silence. Connect with someone who is knowledgeable in the field of menopause. And, there are so many approaches out there you can take. And there are so many women out there struggling today with weight issues and weight problems in midlife menopause. And that's why recently it will launch, like yourself, I will launch probably in the next week or two, a Fit in 15 ebook. And it's geared to help midlife and menopausal women get lean and get rid of this white visceral fat. And, in the ebook, it's all about how to get your mindset right, how to connect your why with your mindset. It's about macronutrient counting, how to teach you how to macronutrient count. Yeah. What's the breakdown, why you should be macronutrient counting, and also recipes galore. It has tons of recipes in there. And if there's any woman out there that's dealing with this midlife menopausal stage, I have 2 groups of support. We have fabulous communities. One is Successful Irradiant Women on Facebook, and the other is Menopause Mercy. And I just like to love and help women in this stage. And you can find me also, Caramy, at gingermonceaux.com. Mm-hmm. You can find me on Instagram. It's Gelner Monceaux. And I'm just excited just to be able to share this and to help women in this menopause stage.
Oh, awesome. And I will make sure that those links are in the show notes for sure. So when are you launching the ebook? And when can we have it?
This week. And I tell you what I'll do is I'll send it over to you to add it to your show notes. Yes. So I'll have that to you. I'll probably have that to you exactly when this episode drops.
Okay. Well, that's a gift to our listeners. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all of the wealth of knowledge that you've shared today, Ginger. We appreciate you. And thank you for joining us on Second Half Chronicles.
Thank you so much, Caramy, for having me on. And listen, we also have a midlife menopausal podcast too. It's called The Midlife Empress. And we talk about all things midlife and menopause, and we're there to raise the taboo. So if there are any of you out there in menopause, jump on over and listen in. We have so many great episodes about menopause.
Yes. And are you on the major platforms?
Yes, all major platforms. Yes, we are.
Okay. Awesome. I love it. Well, we have been enriched, and we just need to keep this conversation going. Yes. Talking about women just moving along in life and doing well. So I just really appreciate you today. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. And Live boldly, love Carrie and Ginger. Hi, Second Half Chronicles community. I am so excited about this big announcement. I have just opened enrollment for my signature program called Midlife Purpose Quest. It's a one-on-one coaching program, and I'm looking for 5 highly committed women to be a part of this intimate group. So Midlife Purpose Quest will take you through everything you need to know about bridging the gap between being stuck and lost and not knowing who you are, kind of after a couple decades of taking care of the masses, and help you become fulfilled, happy, knowing exactly what you want out of the next chapter. And we're going to get you a self-crafted, proudly owned tombstone title over the next 12 weeks. So what this program entails is we're going to look at recognizing the blocks, like what things are holding you back from even kind of moving forward or even looking at doing something new. We're going to choose a dream or a purpose. We'll kind of go through a whole series of exercises figuring out what that is. And we'll identify barriers that are keeping you from actually taking part in that purpose, that dream. We'll commit to a purpose together, and then you'll take action and fulfill those desires. And I will be with you every step of the way. One of the biggest pillars of this program is the accountability pillar, which is I'm there with you and I'm actually showing you what to do and how to do it. Super excited. So there's 12 one-on-one coaching sessions that are 40 minutes each, face-to-face on Zoom. There's support in texting through Slack. There's a program tracking system, a resource collection, which is compiled just for you. And then also I will mail to you, let me grab it, the My Second Half Chronicles journal. So I'll mail this to you. You'll work in it throughout the program and it'll be a great time. Mostly we're going to have fun. We're going to get you transitioned out of kind of a slump into like just soaring into the second half of your life. And I'm super excited to make this announcement. It was so wonderful being trained in this and putting all of this together. And if you're interested, please find me on Instagram or send me an email. So Instagram at Second Half Chronicles. You can message me there. On Facebook, Second Half Chronicles, Second Half Chronicle at gmail.com. So hopefully you can just find me on Second Half Chronicles and send me a message and we can get started. Look forward to it. Thank you so much for listening today. Please show some love to all of us at Second Half Chronicles by giving us a follow or subscribing, and please share an episode with a friend. It would mean the world. Until next time, live boldly, love Carrie.